chat a little bit?
Yeah.
Yes.
Mic check. 1, 2, 3.
Yes. Hi.
Yeah,
Can you hear us all okay? Can you hear us? Valerie, how's your day been?
It's been good.
To
Busy.
ask you to speak a little bit closer.
Oh, speak closer?
Yeah, so I will adjust it.
Oh,
Okay.
Is it?
Yeah, no, that's good. Comfortable.
it's such a big mic. You'd think it would pick up.
It's impressive.
Yeah.
It's the
Yes.
standard
Yeah.
for podcasts.
Mm.
This? Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
I see this on podcasts that I watch and listen to.
Yeah, I do too. I love podcasts. I listen to them every day.
Yeah.
So I thought I might as well just do my own.
Absolutely. I love that. Yes, how's your day been?
All right.
Busy.
It's
All right,
rolling.
let's-
Oh, we're rolling. Okay.
Yes, so enjoy yourselves and you can start whenever you feel.
Okay, brilliant.
And it's best I look at you, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
yeah, do we look at each other or do we look at the camera?
No, you look
What's-
at each other.
we look
but
at each
if
other.
if you want to start with talking to the audience, you can start with the
Nah,
camera, but
they'll get it.
otherwise, you speak to each other, normal conversation.
Right.
All right, brilliant.
Thank you.
Louisa, thank you for coming. So I know you primarily through Fenxiang,
Yes.
which does clothing swaps and rentals, right, to promote sustainable fashion. And you're also part of Rethink. I think are you the marketing?
So I work as chief of
person?
staff there, and then I also lead on our Rethink Foundation, which is our charitable organisation. So every year at Rethink, all of the ticket delegate sales go towards our charities at the Rethink Foundation.
Okay. All right. Before we get to that, I want to start right at the beginning. Can you tell me about where you grew up and what was your childhood like?
Absolutely.
All the way back.
I don't think I've ever been asked this question, so I'm gonna give it my best shot. So I was born and raised in London, but I spent 4 years from the ages of about sort of 2 till 6 living in Tokyo. So my dad was born in Japan, and my parents met in the 90s in Tokyo, and then when they had my sister and I, they then moved back to Tokyo, and we were there for 4 years, which was incredible, and that has fully shaped my love of Asia and wanting to live here. So that was given to me quite young. And then, yes, for the rest of my childhood, I was in London, which I loved so much. I feel like, I know I had a wonderful childhood. I was exposed to kind of all kinds of diverse communities growing up in London. I think it's just such an incredible city. But then also I was so lucky that my parents loved Asia so much. So we obviously lived in Tokyo, but then we also did a lot of traveling around Asia, which was fantastic. So I was very lucky to grow up with parents who loved going to see the world. And that's what they valued most, is giving us those experiences of traveling and being.
Was it mostly Asia? Or did
It
you
was
go,
mostly Asia because my
Europe,
dad
America?
absolutely loves Asia. And I think, we did do lots of other traveling. And now I'm honestly thinking about it, is mainly Asia, and my aunt lives in Australia, so we were kind of between there. It's only in as I've got older that I then sort of explored South America and the US and things like that. But my parents love Asia so much.
And you do too, clearly,
I
since
do,
we're in Hong
I
Kong,
do,
in case
indeed.
anyone didn't
Yes.
know.
Yeah.
But before we get to that, so you talked about traveling a lot and stuff. Where did you study for university?
So I studied at Edinburgh University up in Scotland, which I adored so much. I think Edinburgh is one of the best cities.
That's where I grew up.
Is
Thank
it?
you. Yes.
Oh, I love it so much. And
Good,
yeah,
good.
Scotland is the best. And again, just such an incredible city. There's so much history there, but there's also just so much going on there in terms of culture with the Edinburgh Festival. And that's where I felt like I really came into my own at university. I studied English literature, which I did just because I absolutely loved reading books. And that would always be my advice, is study something you love. Saying that, now I'm like, it'd be great if I'd done some sort of business course or something to sort of keep me get a little bit ahead on that. But I think you can learn that stuff. And I think just enjoying university and what you're studying and what you're passionate about is so good. And that's also where I started to dip my toes into fashion as well.
Okay. When you were picking English literature, did you have a job in mind, a career path?
No, so I always think about this, and when people say, have you worked in fashion? I always say no, but actually most of my teenage years and university years, I wanted to work in fashion. That's all I wanted to do. And I remember my school saying, like, just talking about like transferable skills and learning sort of critical thinking and like reading and writing and all of those kind of things. And so that's sort of what sort of guided me on that. But no, I definitely never had a job in mind. And it's something I really struggled up, probably up until quite recently, of never really finding what I was a specialist in and not being able to. And I just remember at university, I was like, sometimes, why has everyone else now got these internships they want to do and they have so much direction? And I loved everything, so I found it hard to very kind
Oh
of
my
like
God, that's
specialize in
perfect.
things.
That's perfect, because that resonates so much. The not knowing what is your specific thing, like wanting to do everything, but
Yes.
knowing that, because the advice is pick something that you're good at and just be really good at that. And you know that saying that, oh, if you're a jack of all trades, you're a master of none. That would really like bother me a lot. So it's really great to hear you say that.
Yeah.
And so you said you started becoming interested in fashion during your teens and uni years. Like, how did that
So
come
I
about?
was just obsessed with making these scrapbooks from magazines. I was just obsessed with all the fashion magazines, and I'd go through them and I'd make all these scrapbooks of my favorite looks and my favorite models, and like all, I loved like the creativity and the art, like how that sort of art and fashion came together. And I was completely obsessed. I remember honestly, I wish I could find them, all these books that I made. And I had in my mind that I was going to be like Anna Wintour at Vogue. Like this, I honestly think about it. It's so much now, all these books I put together. And so that was sort of always what I wanted to do. But I was never that keen on sort of PR and marketing. Like that never really appealed to me, but it felt like the obvious sort of direction into fashion. And then I can't believe I'm actually about to talk about this, but it was a big moment for me. But I ran the Edinburgh Charity Fashion Show, and I was the chairwoman there, along with my co-chairwoman. And you're managing a team of 80 people
during university.
And you're
Wow.
managing budgets of sort of £20,000. Like it was quite a big deal at university, but that was amazing. I loved the whole production and putting that together. But again, working for something quite purposeful as well. Working towards raising money for charities we really cared about, and I loved leading teams. I loved executing these like incredible projects. But you were just able to be so creative at university. You could do anything.
That's amazing for uni. How did you land in that role?
So I think actually when I first started university, I found it really unstructured compared to being at school. I think going at school, every hour of my day was scheduled. And then I turned up at university and I had like six hours a week. And I just, what am I going to do with all this time? So I started looking into sort of like extra things to do and found out about the charity fashion show. So I got involved in first year, and I started off in the press team, and then I moved into the publicity team. And then eventually in my third year, started running it, which was fantastic. And yes, I absolutely loved that experience. And that was such an early experience of working with brands and the way that they want to, promote themselves to students and things. And now I get so many students coming to me asking to borrow clothes for fashion shows, and it feels very full circle.
Oh, okay. It sounds like you found what you wanted to do quite early then.
Well,
because uni is it's early.
Not really at all, because what then happened is I left university and not even that. I went and worked in New York. During university, I did internships within fashion houses. I actually went and did an internship with Vivienne Tam, which is a very famous Hong Kong designer, which I then came across when I then moved back to Hong Kong. And I did not love working in the PR and press departments. I actually hated it.
Really?
I found the work really boring. I found it all very superficial. And
What did you have to do in the role?
and again, this was before social media, really. So honestly, it was a lot of like contacting magazines and like sending things out to press. But it was more, of course, when you're an intern, you're doing those mundane jobs. It was more, I would look at my bosses and just think that's not what I want to be. That's not what I'm interested in. They're still doing that kind of work, and it just doesn't interest me. So I took a total pivot. And when I left university, I went to go work on the Hillary Clinton presidential campaign.
Really?
in
No
America.
way.
I just was looking around, and again, this thing of, I don't know what I'm an expert in. And I just wanted, through the fashion show, I'd loved doing events and things like that. And I went to go and volunteer for Hillary for America, which was an incredible experience.
In 2016?
In 2016, yeah,
Oh my
exactly.
God.
So
you volunteered as well.
Yes,
you
yeah.
volunteered to do.
So you go to New York, and I volunteered, and
For free.
for free. Oh my gosh, yeah, literally left university. I was like, I can do this. This is great. And then, as you can imagine, after a couple of months before the elections, they don't need anyone in New York. You have to go to a swing state. So I found myself in Ohio, canvassing and knocking on doors, but then also managing these incredible events, because they have these unbelievable events where. So I saw Obama speak, I saw Joe Biden speak, I saw Beyonce and Jay-Z perform, like Chance the Rapper, like all these these incredible events they throw to get people to sign up to vote. It's unbelievable, the whole American election. I mean, we don't even need to go down there, but that was wild. So I did that. Obviously, it was an incredibly depressing ending. It was so. I remember just crying on the plane back. It was so, because you really drink the Kool-Aid. Like you think you're like, we are going to win. This is amazing. So that was quite sad. And then moved back to London and did a couple of jobs. Just doing temp jobs. And then I went to go work for a business called W Series, which was about getting women into Formula One. And this is where I really started to realize my pattern of, I loved like working for a purpose, there being like, a personal brand. So obviously with Hillary Clinton, it was that, that purpose of getting her elected to the White House. And then with W Series, it was about giving women in Formula One that opportunity. And that was incredible. That I was the first employee there. I was, on the floor plugging in computers, but then also out researching drivers, and I'm helping find all these incredible women. So that was my first experience of watching a business grow from the ground up.
And you felt incredible. That purpose that you really wanted to see this.
Absolutely.
It's not just a job you're doing and getting a paycheck, but you actually felt like a connection to the work.
Completely. And I'd always been very passionate about women in sport as well, and my family are huge fans of Formula One. So it was amazing building something and watching it come to life, and then watching it come to life and come into the sphere of Formula One. I think one of the most incredible things is we W Series eventually had a partnership with Formula One. So we went to Singapore, and we were racing at the Singapore, the women were racing at the Singapore Grand Prix, and that was really incredible. And yes, I loved that. And again, that gave me that first insight of working across multiple teams and helping build something, because then that job got me into my role. I was working at Dun & Bradstreet as a chief of staff.
What's that?
Dun & Bradstreet. So it is it's basically a data and fintech company. It does a whole multitude of things, and that was going from small startup to gigantic corporation, which was amazing. And I feel it's actually really important to have both that startup and that corporate experience, because then you understand both more. And that was amazing. I was working as chief of staff to the chief marketing officer there, and that was the pivotal moment for me. Was he said to me, he was like, you know, being a generalist, that's your superpower. And I was so self-conscious before, because everyone around me were being experts in things and they were getting promoted. And I just felt, I'm not a specialist in anything. And I was, as I said, very self-conscious about it. And my boss there, he was like, no, this is your superpower. This is, your ability to work across teams. And that's when I first sort of learned about the role of chief of staff. And it so depends who you're working with, but he took me into some of the most senior rooms and, really pushed me and pushed me out my comfort zone, especially, which was so important.
Can you tell a little bit, what does a chief of staff do?
So it's very dependent what kind of business you're in. So if you're in a startup, you are sort of the you're the right-hand man of the founder, effectively, and you are helping, you're basically running all the different sort of strategic projects, helping with all the different decisions. You're working across all departments, making sure that all the sort of different projects are moving. I would say you're effectively a project manager across the whole business, and you're making sure that everything is operating.
Super project manager.
Yeah, super project manager is exactly how I would describe it. But it was my first time I'd come across that, and it made me realize that's what I loved doing. I loved being across all the different teams. I didn't want to just be in marketing or just be in finance. I wanted to see what was happening in the full breadth of the business.
Interesting. I didn't know you could do that. I thought you had to be in one spot.
Yeah, and it was interesting because when I was chief of staff at Dun & Bradstreet, I was just within the marketing department. And then, but actually, because my boss was across the whole business, you then start to see the whole business. So that was really great. And then, I mean, the best thing about Dun & Bradstreet is they moved me to Hong Kong. So that was amazing. And I will always be grateful for them for that. And I was so lucky to work for them during COVID as well. Working for a big corporate like that, you see the side of them really looking after you, which is fantastic.
Nice.
But then
Sweet.
I also very quickly started to have that itch again of like, it was amazing working for a big corporate for a number of reasons, but definitely the feeling purposeful was not there, and you become quite a cog. You just realize you're a cog in a machine. And especially, it was amazing. I was working across like the whole global team, and it's such an amazing experience working with the US and all across Europe and Australia and Asia and everything. But I definitely wanted to get back to waking up every morning and thinking I'm working for something purposeful. And so in Hong Kong, I started to ask people, I was like, where can I go to, speak to people in like sustainability and other things? And someone said to me, you should go to Rethink. Like that's where everyone is. Went to Rethink and was totally blown away. And I just thought, wow, oh my gosh, there's so many incredible people in Hong Kong doing incredible things and amazing businesses and technology and innovation. And I then basically emailed Chris after and said, do you want to go for a coffee? And pitched in the idea of a chief of staff, which is great. So I've been working as his Rethink's chief of staff for the past nearly 4 years now, which has been fantastic and just opened up that world of sustainability in Hong Kong for me, which has been incredible.
Oh, fantastic. All right, yeah. So let's talk about that. Let's talk about Rethink. So for anyone doesn't know, can you just explain what is Rethink?
Yes. Sorry. So Rethink is a 2-day event that happens every single year, and it is all about accelerating sustainable development in Hong Kong. So it is about bringing businesses together to help solve the issues that are happening in Hong Kong, but also globally. And the ethos of it is really that we are better together, stronger together, we can collaborate together. So it is, as I said, 2 days of like panels, keynotes, interactive workshops, as well as an exhibition as well. So all the panels and everything are really unpacking like what are the issues, but how can you, to all these sustainability practitioners coming, but also, CEOs and other decision makers, like what can you take away from this and actually go back and put into your organization? As well as I said, the exhibition where it's showcasing all the incredible innovation and technology that is happening in Hong Kong. So it's amazing. And it's every year, I've been doing it for 4 years, and every year I'm blown away by all the different incredible projects and, as I said, technology that's being developed in Hong Kong. And I guess I always talk about this, how I feel sometimes I'm in a bit of a echo chamber, because I think there's a lot of work to do for sustainability in Hong Kong,
for sure, yeah.
And definitely around just within the general public, I think. But I think a lot of the big corporates are doing incredible things, but also the innovation that's going on, and the government are funding a lot of that R&D. So that is fantastic. And you do, like, whenever you see someone not recycling or things like that, like I know there is like good work happening here. It's just there just needs to be a bit of a mindset shift and a bit more focus on education with general public, I think.
Do you think there has been a mindset shift at all?
I think so. I was, when I first moved here 5 years ago, I was quite taken aback, and I think that's because I grew up in a world where my there's never not been recycling picked up from my house. Like, just the sustainability was just something I've like never not known, and just general things of people knowing how to recycle and not using single-use plastic coffee and water bottles and things like that. And I think, I remember especially like going over to Shenzhen, and just like you see all like the waste and like things like that. You just see that level of like waste on a really large scale.
When you see it like in person, like you realize just how unsustainable it is, right? We can't keep doing this because it's going to have irreparable damage, and it already has. And you're just exposed to it so much more. I mean, to be fair, I'm not saying the UK is perfect. It's definitely, there's definitely issues there, but Hong Kong and Asia are behind what's happening in Europe and the US, but they are, I think, working incredibly hard to catch up and do the work. So I think there has been a mindset shift. But then again, I always am like,
I worry that I speak to too many people within the industry. So I'm like, great, yeah, it's fantastic. And then is the everyday person doing that?
So what should the everyday person be doing? What's the proper ways to be sustainable?
Well, this is the thing. I think it's really underestimated, like about people are like, oh, it's just too big. I can't, there's nothing I can do. Like what can I do to actually change? And I think actually just the small habits are what really matters. Like, and just as small as maybe not eating meat one day a week, or, you know, always making sure that you've got your reusable water bottle or coffee mug, or recycling, you know, things like getting on the MTR instead of a taxi, like just really small everyday things that everyone can be part of. And I think it's such a big issue, so people get overwhelmed by it, but actually just the everyday thing that you can do. And of course, the big thing that I'm trying to drive is obviously changing consumer habits in fashion, especially, and trying to work on the everyday bits that people can do there.
Yeah. So let's talk about Fenxiang. What year did you start that?
So I actually started it, I think a couple of years ago, so in 2023, but I wasn't doing it full time. It was much more of, you know, sharing with friends. So Fenxiang means to share some of the good, and it is all about sharing your wardrobe. And it basically came about because I was looking for a dress for a wedding, and my friend said, "Oh, come and look in my cupboard. You can come and have a look." And she had all these incredible outfits. She was like, I never wear any of these. You know, I was like, okay, there's something here. There must be so many women in Hong Kong that have wardrobes full of clothes that they're not wearing, and we don't need to be constantly buying new. Like we can share here. So it's all around the concept of sharing. So very much it started with my friends and creating an MVP, so minimal viable product, and getting them to upload their clothes and like renting and sharing amongst them. So that's been great. And then about a year ago, I went full time with it, which has been fantastic. And what we're really seeing, which I think is, I mean, so many things I was naive about, but because this business model exists in the rest of the world, like in lots of parts of the world, like this kind of thing exists in the UK, the US,
sharing
Australia.
clothes?
Yeah, so like like the rental business, especially in the UK, is huge, and it's huge in Australia, and I think it's very popular in the US as well. And just resell in secondhand clothing. Like growing up in the UK, you know, getting something from a charity shop or a vintage shop is like a badge of honor. And I came in thinking, right, this is a great business model that like has worked in other parts of the world, so I can bring this into Hong Kong. And it was such, it does not. There is all these different cultural nuances around it, and the idea of sharing clothes and like wearing someone else's clothes is just. I had to do so much education to get people to understand that it's, you know, it is hygienic, and it is, you know, you can still get great quality clothes that aren't just buying new. So that's been a big challenge, is the understand, you know, you can't just bring any business in and expect it to work. Like you have to localize a business. You need to understand what's happening culturally. And so that's been a big part of it.
Yeah. Can you talk a little bit about the culture? Because I know in Asia they have this kind of idea that you take on the person's karma, like the thing that you're taking from them, whether it's a house. Usually it's for houses that I hear it's about. That if the family beforehand had problems, then they're going to have those problems. So I'm assuming it's the same for clothing, right?
Completely. And I've had so many different things, from the karma to the spirit, like as you said, like all the different things of that or you don't, or like luck, and you don't want to share that luck. You want to keep that luck within you and your family.
It didn't work the other way as well.
All I've heard such a multitude of things, and that is, you know, I didn't have that in the business plan when I first started putting this together. It's not what I expected at all. But that is why I think it's so important to iterate with your customer and go out there and like speak to your customer and understand and get that feedback and understand what they want, and you know, and educate them, but understand as well like what they know and what they want as well. And I think I could have put together some like shiny business plan and, you know, spent ages like prepping everything and preparing everything, but I would have had to rip it all up if what I did first was actually go out and speak to people and understand kind of what are the cultural nuances here, what do people want, what do people understand. But then it is such an education as well. I know there's so many people I speak to are like, oh, okay, I really like that idea, that's great, but you have to keep educating them and getting them to understand the product. So a big shift we're actually doing is like, we'll always have rental within our business model, but we're moving much more into the resale model, because that's just what we're seeing, what people want. So many people here that I just want to sell my clothes. I just want to get rid of them. I feel so bad. I don't want to throw them away. And then so many people saying, I like the idea of renting, but actually like the ownership is what I really love. So, but being able to, have something second, pre-loved, and that's the other thing. So in the UK, it's very much, secondhand charity shop. That's not the language you can use. You've got to use language like pre-loved or like thrifting and things like that. So it's learning like the different language you have to use to help, market it to a specific customer.
So how do you like communicate the value of this? Because these are like very deeply entrenched beliefs, right?
Yeah.
That go back, generations and generations. So it must be quite. Is it hard to?
It's really hard.
So how do you?
I think
overcome that?
there's an amazing Gen Zs are incredible. Like there's a much more conscious consumer coming up, and that is where we're finding like we resonate the most with. It's that Gen Z who they've been learning about sustainability that like pretty much their whole life. They just understand it so much more, and they hold so much value in finding something unique, and something pre-loved, and thrifting has become a real trend. So that Gen Z conscious consumer is definitely where we're much more focused on. I'm not saying that all the generations are not into this. I've met some incredible people here. I met a woman at an event who told me she hadn't bought anything new for 8 years. And like by that, so she has been, thrifting or buying secondhand and all this kind of stuff. So she hasn't bought anything that's like physically new from a store. And she was incredibly well dressed and like so chic. And so it's about, reframing that like you need this sort of shiny new outfit always and always buying new. And it's more about, okay, actually what's already out there that I can have. And there are amazing initiatives in Hong Kong. When I first started to think like, okay, sustainable fashion can become a thing, is when I learned about this, all the different swaps. So like Top Swap and Swap Society, and they're amazing at, and especially they have a lot of like Gen Zs who come to those as well. And so it becomes, just like part of like what they're doing. It becomes part of the norm. Whereas when I was growing up, it was you have to go to Zara and you have to buy as many things as possible. And I'm a recovering Zara addict. And like when I think about the amount of things I bought, and like, where are they now? They are, they are in landfills. They are. I can't even bear to think about it too much. But that was what was cool when I was a teenager. And I'm not saying that still is the case. It's just in like different online presence. But it's amazing going to the swaps and seeing these teenagers being like, this is cool to be like thrifting and doing that. So I think
I can see how it can be like a hobby, and then you can like show, I got this.
Absolutely.
And I got this,
and it's like showing off like the different things that you found and stuff like that. So
I think my next question then is like, speaking of Zara, there's this kind of epidemic of cheaply made clothes that just fall apart. And so I wonder, do you run into problems when people want to resell, but the fabric just isn't good, right? It's stuff falls apart after one wear. Yeah. I was in the UK last year, and I went into a charity shop, and I noticed how bad the quality was compared to years ago when I used to go. It just seems worse, and I just think I can't buy this because it's just not good. It'll fall apart. So do you have that problem of just the clothes overall have just declined?
Yes, definitely. And clothes, and they're so much more easily available, obviously with fast fashion and online and like
Shein
all that, and like all of those kind of things, and things being, and the big problem as well is people, shipping so many things and then just can't be bothered to return any of them, like, and then they'll just drop them at the charity shop. And this is the thing, like, I would love to think that everyone will make choices on clothes because they're thinking about the sustainability and the quality and the value, but ultimately what drives people is how fast can I get it and how cheap can I get it? Like that is ultimately what drives people. And so, it's hard with fast fashion, and we are being, completely inundated with it on social media and everything. It's not a surprise that people become addicted to it and addicted to like the buying and the dopamine hit. That's absolutely makes sense because these companies, they make us feel like that. They do everything. They do all of their marketing to make us feel like that. But then that is the problem, that we have so many clothes that are bad quality. And I guess as I've got older, I value so much now those sort of like high quality items, because I can see them now. Yeah. They stand the test of time. They are clothes that have been in my wardrobe for a number of years, whereas most, I don't want to keep like, I'm being mean about Zara, but like none of those Zara clothes that I had, a few years ago have made it through because they've fallen apart. Yeah. And it's the same with so many fast fashion brands as well. And so it's tricky because this also comes from being older and being able to have a bit more money to spend. But it is, trying to educate people, and like it is so much more valuable for you to buy one high quality piece that is going to last you than go and, buy 10 items from Shein. And that's the really tricky thing about as well, as educating people on that. And then I guess within Fenxiang, what we're trying to, within like the resale market and especially the rental, is we're trying to be that contemporary mid-market range. So that sort of, that it's basically high quality, but good, a good price. It's not like Fenxiang basically came about because I was trying to solve an issue of, in Hong Kong, I feel like there's luxury high end and then fast fashion, like high street. And there's not really much in between.
Yeah, there's really not. Yeah. It's kind of, there used to be stuff like Hollister. That used to be really good, but I've noticed like that's gone down.
Definitely.
Like, into fast fashion now. And there's nothing in the middle that I can think of.
And that's what I really struggled with when I came here. And so that was one of the reasons I think every good business starts when you're trying to solve a problem for yourself. And that's kind of what I was trying to do. And so we're very focused on like those high quality items, like not like luxury designer, but that real like mid-market, and making sure that they stay in circulation, because a lot of them they're made really well and have fantastic fabric that can last. And we want to extend the life cycle of those.
Oh, yeah, that's true. So how do you decide what you'll choose to have in Fenxiang and what you...
So we're a peer-to-peer business, so anyone can upload their items for free and sell their clothes or rent their clothes out. So we do, so we do obviously, there is free reign for anything, but we do have to do quality control and things like that. Especially, I think something else which this when I've spoken to people in the UK, this hasn't come up, but it's obviously a real issue of fake items here because they are so readily available. So that's a big, you have to do the quality check, like making sure they have the labels and all of that kind of thing. But for us, it's about like good quality items from great brands that we know that we love, and we love their values. And so it's about featuring a lot of those. Saying that, there are a couple of like really great Zara pieces on there that are real like one of a kind amazing pieces that do deserve to be rented or sold. And so I don't say like, oh no, we don't accept any fast fashion brands, because there's actually a lot of fast fashion brands that have incredible pieces. It's just about uploading like good quality clothes that deserve to be shared again.
Yeah. Like even with Zara, I don't know if it's just me like having the wrong view of it from when I was a teenager, but I swear that used to be better as well. Zara, I don't know if I'm just not remembering correctly, but I thought that used to be good.
I think all of them. The thing is, I think all of those brands, like they definitely started with high quality, but with margins and like the readily available like cheaper materials and having to keep up. I think, oh my gosh, I think the amount they have to do like new drops. Someone told me something like it's almost like every week, and so like having to keep up with those trends and everything, like. They're a business and they've had to adapt with that. And it's not just Zara, it's obviously many other fast fashion brands.
Have you heard of that, Gen Z saying? It's like, I don't know if I can say this, but enshittification, where everything becomes shitter the longer it goes on.
No way.
Yeah. So with like food, with clothes, with like most retail things that you buy. So
interesting.
Like the bigger the company, the worse the product.
Oh, okay. Because
for the margins and stuff. Yeah.
Interesting.
Have you not heard of that?
No, I'm going to Google that. Love it.
I wanted to, can we talk about when you first started Fenxiang? So you mentioned overcoming the kind of the stereotypes. What were some other things that you were surprised and you had to overcome, like starting Fenxiang and just, running this business?
Yeah. so many things, and definitely educating people on the business still is, and like educating people on like what we do is still the biggest challenge. But then also, and again, this can be a good and bad thing, but people trying to people be like, oh, do you like, oh, can I just sell all my clothes to you and then you'll take them on? Or like, oh, have you thought of like doing that? And people coming to you with lots of different ideas, and it is great. Like, love the feedback. But then having to be really strong. For example, the biggest one for us is we don't hold any inventory. Mm-hmm. And that was like, for people, a lot of people, they're like, no, I just want to sell my clothes and you to look after them. I was like, no, we are not an operations business. Like, that's not what we're trying to do. And it's really hard because then they'll say, okay, well, I don't want to list my clothes then. So you feel like you've lost out. And so what's really hard is trying to staying true to your values, but also knowing when to say yes and knowing when to say no. Like, that's definitely been hard. And at the beginning, I said yes to everything. I was trying to be everything for everyone. I ended up getting in a really terrible situation with a marketing person, which ended up costing too much money.
Tell.
Oh my gosh, no.
It?
This woman basically promised me the world and then just didn't deliver. And I can take that away and be like, really great learning curve, but I lie awake at night sometimes thinking about that money that I paid her, and it just makes me very upset.
Was it like that?
So that was like such a like huge mistake. And so it's trying to understand where the, like when you do the yeses and when you do the nos, like that's a big learning curve, because you get really excited and someone comes to you with this like great idea and this, oh, let's do this brand partnership, let's do this event. And I think it was great in the first year saying yes to everything, like first year and a half probably, because you need to be out there and you need to meet the community, and it's been amazing. And I've met so many amazing people. But then this year I've been much more razor focused on like, okay, what do I actually say yes on? Is this going to bring, like, what is this? Is this going to be like a good ROI on the business or not? And that's really hard to do, because I do want to work with everyone, and everyone's got lots of really exciting projects, but you can't continue to do that. So I think that's been hard, is, trying to.
So how do you discern then what to say yes and no to?
I think you have to really understand. I mean, like to be totally honest, a lot of it comes down to like budget and like financing, and I'm bootstrapping the business, so like I do not have a large amount of budget for anything really, and so having to like work hard to work on like barter deals and partnerships and things like that, and making sure like people aren't taking you for a ride, and if you are paying them, then being really clear on like what is the scope of work, what are the deliverables, and that kind of thing I'm now much better at. Mm-hmm. Oh God, wait, what was the other thing I was going to say? I can't remember now. Sorry.
Sorry, it might come to you. All right, I need to be conscious of time, but I forgot what I was going to say.
We're in such a flow, and you're like, what was the question before you just asked me?
I asked, how do you discern? Because you don't know who's going to take you for a ride, right? They're not going to say it.
No,
so how do you?
That's the other thing. Gauge? I think what has been so important is building up relationships as well. Like, there's so much value, and I actually remember my dad saying this. My dad has this unbelievable network of, like, he's retired now, and he goes and meets people like 2 or 3 times a week of people he used to work with. And it's unbelievable, this network of people he's built up, and he's nurtured those relationships after like 30 plus years of working. And I respect it so much. And it's made me realize how important it is to, and Hong Kong's amazing for it, because there's so many like networking events and all those kind of things. And obviously, sometimes you're a bit like, oh gosh, like going to another thing. But building up those relationships has been so valuable, because you then, you figure out who to trust, who's great to work with. But then what's so good is when you go to those events and you put time in, and you like speak to people, you put your face out there, you put your business out there, that's then come back to me in a good way. If someone has heard like, oh, this, like, it's actually an event tomorrow, which someone in a room where I was not thought, oh, have you asked Louisa Dearlove about it? Have you asked Feng Xiang about this? They'd be a great partner in this. And that's why it's so important to nurture those relationships, because then when you're not in the room, people still are thinking, oh, actually, I'm going to like Feng Xiang would be a great partner to do on this. And that's what's important. So those Monday nights when I was going to like business things and thinking, this is not what I want to be doing, there is so much value. I always say I go to those, and even if I just meet one person that can bring some value, then it's worth it. always.
So how do you decide what to go to? Do you go to like everything
I
that you
used to
can?
go to everything
And meet everyone?
Yeah, I went to everything and met everyone, and it's that's how I met you, like one of these events as well, like and it's so important to do. But I did used to go to everything, and now I'm much just careful, just more protective of my time, of thinking, okay, is this actually going to be beneficial to me? Is this going to be, do I need to protect my energy? Do I actually have a really big thing I need to do tomorrow, so actually it would benefit me not going? Or is this a different group of people? That's the thing for me. Like, I'm always looking for, a different audience to pitch my business to. And and it's so important. And yeah, you never know who you're going to run into. Like, there's been so many times where I've not wanted to go to things, and then I'll go and I'll come away and I'll go back and say to my husband, I'm like, oh, that was so worth it. I'm so glad that I did that. But it's tricky, and it's just figuring out, when you've been to a few of the same things a couple of times, being like, okay, actually, do I need to go to that next one? Is it going to be worth my time or my money, or am I going to see some value from it? But it's hard. You have to take it case by case.
Yeah,
I guess.
that's true. Like, I'm quite an introvert, and so I never want to go to events. But every time I go, I really enjoy it, and I think, oh, that was amazing. But then the next event comes around, and I don't want to go.
Yeah, exactly. Hong Kong is very funny as well, because there's very specific event times. Like, everything's very busy around sort of March, and then like October and November, like sort of September, October, November, and so it feels like quite overwhelming, because all the events I feel like come at once. But it is great, and I think you realize how many there's just so many amazing people and businesses in Hong Kong, and people doing incredible things.
Amazing. Okay, we've only got like 4 minutes left. I wanted to ask one more question. I kind of started this podcast because I really wanted to know, like, what's the point of life? Like, what is actually what actually makes life meaningful? And like, what would you say that is to you? I think it's a loaded question. But.
No, so it's in two parts. It's in two parts for me. So definitely, it's about my work. I love working. I love building things. I love solving problems. And I love, even at the hardest days, I feel like this week has particularly been very hard. I know that what I'm trying to build is trying to solve a problem in the world. Like, I am trying to reduce fashion waste. I'm trying to change consumer habits to more sustainable ones. And that gives me energy and gives me a reason to get out of bed every morning. But ultimately, the other isn't, and I'm super passionate about it, but I do also very much believe that the point of life is the relationships and your friends, your family, my husband. Like, that is what gives me life and joy and makes all the work worth it, because then I have that incredible time with all of them, and that is so special as well.
So meaning in your work and also relationships.
Yes.
Wonderful. Yeah.
That would be the main things.
Wise words. All right. Thank you very much, Louisa. It was lovely.
Thank you for having me. This was such a nice conversation. I felt like we were just having a chat, so it was lovely.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Like, I think ideally that's what it should feel like.
Yes, definitely.
I think at the beginning, I was way too focused on the fact that there are cameras.
Yes, yeah.
And so today I came in and I was like, I'm just going to ignore the cameras.
Yes.
They're not there.
Yeah. No, that's good to do.
Yeah, I think that
great.
worked out. Yeah.
Fantastic. Like, I think probably you've run out. I have time if there's anything else you want to talk to. I'm not in a rush anymore. So if there's anything else you want to chat about.
My script ended in my
head.
I know,
I'm so sorry. Also, we absolutely don't have to, but I didn't want you to feel like I was having to rush.
No, it's not that. It's just they charge me if
that's
I overrun.
What I was thinking. That's also what I was thinking, because I know they charge you, so I'm gonna get down.
But no, I think that was a really good conversation, and I had breakfast with some ladies this morning, and kind of we were talking about the same thing, kind of work, and we feel like there's like a crisis with work, with people. Like, careers are quite unstable at the moment. Like, I know so many people losing their jobs, and so many people that hate their jobs but can't leave because the market's just
exactly
shite.
Yeah.
And so I just want to know, like what should we actually be focusing on?
I know.
Like, what actually makes life meaningful?
No, exactly. Yeah. And like, obviously I've said all of those things, but ultimately, like, life as well, like, you need to pay your bills, you pay your rent. Like, Hong Kong is an expensive city, and so you have to, like I'm very open about this, but like it's amazing that I can still work part-time at Rethink, because that's basically how I live in Hong Kong. But I'm so lucky as well that I love the job as well so much, and I love the team, and it's very purposeful as well. But you know, people always, they would say to me like, well, when would you know to, you know, go full time? And I was like, I haven't. I can't leave my, like, the, you know, the guaranteed salary I'm going to get every month.
Right,
Otherwise
right.
I wouldn't be able to leave it. But I wouldn't be able to live effectively. But I think it actually, the thing that I think is actually really good, I think it makes me make really good decisions, because I'm not stressed constantly about the business making money. But then also I'm so busy with like all my work commitments that I'm very focused when I need to be. I'm like, right, I have 2 hours here and this is what I need to do. And I need to, like the discipline I need to do actually, I think makes me hopefully make good decisions.
Oh,
So, yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah.
All right, are we?
Cool.
Yeah, you need a couple of more minutes, it's fine, but...
No, it's okay, it's okay. Yeah.
Alright.
I think, can you help us take a picture though?
Oh, yes.
Oh,
Because I always forget to do
this. Yeah.
I was about to say, yeah, do you know something? I was really good for a couple of months posting on LinkedIn, and I've become so bad the past month. So
No,
this is
me
a
too,
great
me too.
opportunity.
Yeah. Same. Let's do one standing up as well.
Alright, do you want behind the scenes a little bit? Like
Oh,
with
awesome.
cameras and stuff?
Oh, yes. Yeah.
Oh,
so,
right,
like,
with the
it's
cameras
in
in the shot.
you
Yeah.
keep talking and-
All right. Okay.
It's
Yeah.
done,
No,
it's
me
done
too.
this. It's done this before.
Yeah, I think LinkedIn's become really bad with all the AI stuff. Like,
It's
I can't
so
stand
bad.
being
Yeah.
on there. Like,
It's
every
a
post
lot.
is AI, all the comments are AI,
Yeah,
and I think, is there any humans?
Completely.
So, yeah,
I got an email from someone the other day, and you know, if you like, I often do this, and you know, I'm like, draft a response and then you edit it and things like this. And this person hadn't edited it, and it basically said like best, and then insert your name, like literally the words insert your name. And I was like, no, why have you done this? Like, what are you doing? So yeah, I think there's, and so Rethink, I run our internship program as well. And the interns, oh my God, when I interview them sometimes, I can see them that reading off like a script. So they've obviously
'cause
just
it's
gone in.
online.
Yeah.
So you see their
can,
eyes
and
just
you can see
moving.
their
Thank
eyes. And
you.
I'm like, I just want to shake them and be like, just be yourself and talk to me like a normal human being. Because if you can't talk to me,
Can we get one standing up?
Like
Yeah.
this way.
yeah.
Very nice.
Thank you so
Thank you so
much.
much.